everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of PCOA Voices. If you're just now joining our series, welcome. And if you'd like to view our previous episodes, you can do that through PCOA's website at pcoa.org or through our Facebook page. I'm Lisa Reams. I'm your host for PCOA Voices, and I serve as the Vice President for Programs and Services at Pima Council on Aging. Welcome to my living room. I keep thinking that if I'm going to have hundreds of people in my living room, I should dust better. But thank you for joining me anyway. The purpose of PCOA Voices is to bring Pima Council on Aging into your living room. We want to get to know you better. We want you to get to know us better. We want to explore issues that affect older adults better. And we want to help you learn more about PCOA and the services that we can bring to this community. We want to inform you, engage you, and have some fun along the way. If you're watching our broadcast live, you can interact with us via chat. We have PCOA staff here to answer your questions, and they'd love to say hi to you. So just in order to do that, just type in your comment or your question into the chat screen and just push enter. So for today's topic, you hear a lot about aging in place, which is the importance of older adults staying whenever safely possible in their homes versus moving into some type of a group care setting. Most people desire this, and health data shows us that there's some really good reasons for that. So today I invited some PCOA team members in to talk about why this is important and ways that PCOA can help you or your loved one to stay safely at home. So please join me in welcoming Elizabeth, Tony, and Misty.
Hello. Hello.
Good to be here, Lisa.
Thanks for being here, all of you. Just to introduce you all a little, so Elizabeth Reeves is the director of our in-home services. Wave, Elizabeth, there you go. TEstrada is the director of all of our programs that are funded through our Older American Act, which includes a lot of our in-home supports. And Misty Morse is one of our case managers who helps older adults live independently. Thanks for joining me for this really important conversation.
Thank you.
So Elizabeth, let's start with you. First of all, I love that helping older adults live independently through us was your first professional job as a social worker 25 years ago. And now you're back with us running these services. That says a lot about how important this work is to you. Tell us what draws you to this work and why it's important for older adults to stay living at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think, first of all, I just really love doing home visits. I think that, well, I've been able to work in a hospital and in nursing homes and adult care homes, but I think that having the privilege to be able to go into somebody's house and see what they like to live with really is helpful in helping them. You know, I can see if somebody has a dog, or if they have pictures of their family, or if they're surrounded by knickknacks because they like little gremlins, or, you know, whatever the thing is. So that's great because I can listen, but then I can also see and learn about somebody. So that really, I think, is very powerful and very helpful. The other piece is that well, we know that people really like to be in their own space. And our program supports people with just a little bit of help so they can stay independent and do the things that they love in the world. And we know that people are happier at home. We also, as you mentioned, we know that health outcomes for people are often much better if they're living in their own space with their neighbors in their community. And finally, it's actually less expensive to provide service for people in their homes, so that agencies like ours in the community can help more people with the help that they need. So those are three of the reasons.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for all you've done to help older adults live in their own homes over these many years. So I want to understand better exactly what we do to help people live independently, how we help, and who we help. Misty, I know this is what you do as a case manager every day. Can you tell us about your role and how you help?
So my role is to carry the caseload of the clients, and I go into their homes. I assess for what their needs are. When I first get a new client, we go in and We will look at their environment, we will look at their home, see if there's any safety needs that they have. I will have a conversation with them, try to just develop a rapport and get to know them and who they are. I talk about if they can bathe by themselves, if they can dress by themselves, what are their challenges walking, and not only walking in the home, but walking and being out in the community. Do you have difficulty getting in and out of a car, things like that? We talk about shopping, cooking, cleaning, the big house cleaning, and just the little housekeeping. And from there, I assess whether they need assistance with their daily needs, the hygiene, the dressing. We can offer personal care. We can offer just some assistance with housekeeping, things like that. I can also offer shopping services if lifting or the grocery store is simply too much for them to get through. We can do home delivered meals if to stand and cook is a huge task for them. A lot of people cannot stand for any length of time without significant pain or weakness or shortness of breath. If somebody lives alone and is a fall risk, I can offer Lifeline. So if, God forbid, they do fall, they're not down for an extended period of time without any kind of help. I also look to see if they have supports. Do they have a strong support system, or are they really on their own? And we just kind of go from there.
Who in general, Misty, is eligible for those types of services? Is there an age required?
No. I have clients who are as young as in their 40s, and I have them into their late 90s. I had a lady who was 102. So anybody, any income, we do our best to help the lower income clients. There is no cost for the services. If somebody's income is below $1,500 a month, then we do not request anything. If somebody if their income is a little bit higher, then we may request a small contribution just to help put back into the pot and keep our services going for the community.
Great, thank you. Thanks to the whole team, the team of case managers for doing everything that they do. Misty, I know you're passionate about making sure that people in the community know that this help exists. And you had shared with me that prior to moving to Tucson, you were living in Colorado Springs. You worked in this field, but you didn't even know that organizations like PCOA can help in these ways. So we're so fortunate that you're here helping do that now. And I'm curious how providing these services has changed over the last few months when we're all dealing with COVID.
Oh, it has been interesting because we can't go into the home. So for a new intake, it is much harder because I have to have the person explain to me everything over the phone. All of our visits are via the telephone. So I am trying to engage a picture of what their environment looks like and are there safety concerns, things like that. For my clients who I know, it's easier because I have an image. It's been a little bit of a silver lining with COVID because I've had the opportunity to get to know my clients better. We spend a lot of time on the road driving, being pulled in different things, and without having to drive, I've had the opportunity to take the time and just have a phone conversation, and it's kind of been nice to get to know them and have that relationship improved some.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. I know that in addition to the services that Misty just mentioned, Tony, I know that you and your team and some of our community partners can provide some additional in-home services. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Absolutely, Lisa. I think I'd like to focus on 3 primary services that are really important out in the community. And all of these services can only be provided to individuals 60 years of age and older. Let me start with PCOA's Home Delivered Meals program. So the individuals that we serve in this program are typically homebound and are unable to prepare their own meals. This program is meant as a supplement to the individual's nutrition and can supply 1/3 of the RDA, or the recommended daily allowance. The meals are designed to be low in salt and sugar and can be pretty much appropriate for any person's diet. The meals do come frozen. They're delivered to the individual on a twice weekly basis. A typical delivery schedule could be 4 meals delivered on Monday and 3 meals on Wednesday. We also have a Tuesday, Thursday route. The minimum requirement for home delivered meals is that the individual has to have at least a microwave in order to heat the meals. The second service I'd like to talk about is PCOA shopper service. Because our home delivered meals program is meant to really only supplement somebody's nutritional needs, our shopper service could help that same individual ensure that they always have an adequate supply of food in their home. I would like to stress, however, that while there would be no charge for the shopper service itself, each individual is responsible for paying for the items being purchased for them. So a couple of things. We limit our shopping to the Fry's grocery store locations, just because we can't have the shoppers around all over town going to different stores. We can also pick up medications as long as the individual uses the Fry's pharmacy as well. Shopping takes place twice a month. A staff member from the shopping agency will call the individual to get their shopping list and let them know when their shopping schedule is. And the shopping gets done with those individual items being delivered to the person's door, and then the payment is collected at that time. The third service I want to talk about today is PCOA's home repair program. This service is here to assist individuals with relatively minor repair issues. We can do stuff like turning on coolers in the summer and the heating in the winter. We can repair minor electric or plumbing issues. We might even be able to assist with replacing a water heater or building a wheelchair ramp. For this program, in addition to the individual needing to be 60 and older, they also have to own and live in their home, wherever the location is that we're being asked to assist. We do not work on rental property, as it would be the responsibility of the landlord at that point to repair any of those issues.
Okay. So these are really important and helpful services in helping older adults stay independent in their homes. How quickly can people get the services that you just described in place?
Well, unfortunately, PCOA does not provide emergency service. We're going to do the best we can to get the services in place as quickly as we can. Services like the home delivered meals and the shopping service that I talked about can typically begin within a week or so. Home repair could take longer. In the summer months, with daily temperatures reaching over 100 degrees, coolers right now are our priority. We're always inundated with calls at this time of year, and we work hard to get someone out to the home in a relatively short amount of time. But it also depends on the season. This being July, our priority may be cooler repairs for the next 3 weeks to a month. And so we may not get to someone that possibly needs a ramp for a month, 6 weeks. It could take a little while sometimes.
Okay. So it sounds like people should call us so we can explain to them how quickly we might be able to get those services in place. Elizabeth, I want to jump to you for a second. Some of the other services that Misty talked about that the case managers arrange, such as in-home personal care or housekeeping, those types of things. How long might it take something like that to get in place?
That's an interesting question, Lisa, and it's hard. We'd like to get services out as quickly as possible to everybody who needs them, but we do, as I said before, have some limited funding and limited people time too. So when a person calls our helpline, and so for any of these services, if you need help, like Tony said, call our helpline and they'll do a screening. And then they assess a risk score to each person who calls for the in-home services. And that risk score is based on, does the person have maybe another family member to help out, or are they completely without any help? Have they been in the hospital recently? We look a little bit at income to see if maybe somebody could afford to pay privately or if they really cannot. And so we have that risk score, and then we work through the clients off the waiting list and call them and do assessments. So sometimes it can be several weeks, but sometimes the wait can be as long as a year. And that's, I wish that we could get to everybody sooner, but yeah.
I know that we're doing everything that we can to reduce that waiting list and get services as quickly.
Yeah.
So thanks for.
Yeah, we've done a good job of getting to people much faster, but it still can take time for some people, and that can be hard.
Sure. And I know one of the things that people can do when they call our helpline to begin services is if it might be a wait for services, we can provide them some resources for ways they could self-pay and get that need met through other organizations in the meantime too.
Absolutely. And as Tony said, the shopping service and the home delivered meals can start pretty quickly. So sometimes we can help meet some of a person's need, and then they might wait for some other help.
Okay.
So it's not all or one.
That's a lot of information. Thanks to all of you being here with me today so we can explore that further and help everyone understand. I know you help thousands of older adults a year to live at home longer and more safely. Before we go, though, I can't have Tony on the show without asking him to showcase for us. Tony, for those of you that don't know, is a renowned local artist in addition to his long career helping older adults. Tony, would you be willing to share a piece of art and a story with us?
Sure. Let me just start by saying that my work primarily is cultural in nature to the Hispanic population. I do a lot of religious work, cultural work, and I focus a lot on Day of the Dead. The piece I'm going to show you today, and let me try to get it here in front of the camera for you. So this piece, even though it appears to be a Day of the Dead picture, I did this actually for a Valentine exhibit. So the piece shows, it's based on a very well-known Mexican painting. You see a lot of these out in Mexican restaurants. But I turned it into skeletons. So it's Day of the Dead, but because it's a Valentine piece, it represents the fact that love never dies. So even in the afterlife, people are still together with their loved ones. This piece is called the Aztec Heart. I'm not going to go into the Aztec custom of ripping people's hearts out of their enemies' bodies. Well, I guess I just did. We won't go into what they did with those, but over here to the right of the painting, you'll see some nopales that are done in an orange and red theme. They're not really, they represent nopales, but if you look at them closely, they're actually individual human hearts. Wow. And so that's where I brought the Aztec heart back into the picture, representing the people, the lovers here that are going to be together through eternity.
With their little dog.
It's actually a fawn.
Okay.
It's hard to see. It's been called a Chihuahua many times, but it's the first time I've ever seen a Chihuahua with cloven hooves. So you can interpret it the way you want.
Tony, thank you for sharing the art with us and sharing the lovely story with it. I learned something. That's awesome. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Well, thank all of you for being with us and for the work that you do. Next up, it's time for the Health, Aging, and Wellness Tip of the Week. And joining us once again for that, here is Marty.
Hi, my name is Marty, and today's healthy tip is very exciting, I'm sure. It's a tip that affects your mental, physical, and emotional health. It can change your life, and I'm sure you're going to be pretty surprised to hear it is your breathing. Yeah. So maybe you've become a bad breather and you don't even notice it. So sometimes bad habits You know, we can role model. We can blame our parents. That's a good thing. We can blame our parents because they might have been bad breathers and we were role modeled bad breathing. You can carry emotion and, you know, tightness in your posture, which can really be reflected in your breathing. So here's a quick tip, a few quick tips to become a better breather. The first one is to keep your lips closed and breathe through your nose. The tongue placement is at the back of the 2 front teeth, and your mouth is very relaxed. So you're trying to be a nostril breather all the time, relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders. And notice your diaphragm. That's your muscle of breathing. It's at the bottom of your rib cage. And let your belly soften. And you could, if you want a good role model for breathing, a baby or a critter, you might have a cat or a dog, they're good breathers. So good luck with your breathing.
Thank you, Marty. You inspire me, and I hope you do for others as well. Next up, please join me in welcoming Karen Ring. Karen serves. Hi, Karen. Karen serves as the coordinator of our healthy living programs at PCOA. It's great to have you here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So, Karen, I know you've been with us here at PCOA almost 10 years now. Can you tell us what drew you to this line of work and what keeps you still so engaged in it after all these years?
That's a really interesting question, and one that I get quite frequently. I was very close to all of my grandparents and to a lot of their friends when I was a very small child. So I think that was probably my first very positive experience in working with older adults. Also, I did a lot with different groups in my church and through Girl Scouts and whatnot. And we did a lot of outings and events with older people, kind of intergenerational activities before there was such a thing. So I think those are primarily the reasons. I enjoy making a difference and hope that the world for older adults will be better when I get there, which is almost now.
Well, we so appreciate all you've done over the years. Your contribution has been wonderful for older adults and for their families.
Thank you.
So one of the programs that you lead is about fall prevention, and that's what I'd like to talk about today. I know when we do community surveys of older adults that fear of falling ranks right up at the top with what people are concerned about as they get older. Why is fall prevention so important as we age?
Well, unfortunately, falls are the major threat to older adults in terms of their health and their independence, being able to care for themselves until their final day on earth. 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 experiences a fall. And the more number of falls that an individual has, the greater their risk grows. So it's a very challenging topic, and one that people need to be very informed and educated about, because falls are preventable. 1 in 10 falls causes a very serious injury, and at least 25,000 adults die as a result of a fall in the United States every year. So those are kind of the statistics of it. Fortunately, however, people are more informed, and healthcare providers are starting to ask the question, have you had a fall this year, when they're doing their Medicare annual well exam. And that opens up a chance and a dialogue for them to talk with their healthcare provider about any falls that they may have had or any fears that they have about falling. So it's a great education opportunity and kind of takes the fear out of the initial discussion.
Yeah, I think all of us know somebody that's fallen, and that's been a significant contributing factor just to a lot of health issues. So
yes,
important issue. Can you give us some practical tips that can help reduce the risk of falls at home and to help people build confidence?
Certainly. I think the very most important one is to look at your living environment. We'll go throughout your house. We have a checklist provided through PCOA, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But go through your house and look at potential risks for a fall. Look at steps, look at lighting. If you have a pet, make sure that you're always aware of where that pet is, because that is one of the major causes of falls in older adults. Also look about the safety in the rooms that you have, in your bathroom particularly. Do you have grab bars in your bathrooms, in your shower area, your tub area? in your commode area. Get rid of all your throw rugs that you have. If you absolutely have to have one, you want to use double-sided tape to affix it to the floor securely. But really, you're better off without them. No decorator likes to hear that, I know, but that's the way it is, I think. Secondly, you want to always exercise to improve your balance and your strength. And that we have in classes that we offer. Also, you want to have your healthcare provider look at all your medications every single year and talk about the fact that if any of those cause you to be dizzy or off balance, you want to discuss that with him or her. That is a major awareness factor right there. And then you always want to have your eyes and your feet as well as your ears checked every year. And by all means, here in Arizona, we like to wear sandals, but sandals are not a secure footwear. You want to wear a footwear that is secure on your feet and that fit properly. So those are the 4 basic things.
Those are some really good practical tips. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually noticed that about sandals myself recently. It makes
There you go.
That's one of my favorite sandals, but I think it's important.
Yes.
So can you tell us what PCOA offers that can help all of us to learn more about fall prevention?
Well, we offer a couple really dynamic programs at PCOA. The first one is called A Matter of Balance, and that is a workshop that goes for 4 weeks, twice a week, and addresses the issue of the fear of falling, as well as helping us build confidence about all the spaces in which we live, whether we're walking through the parking lot to go to the grocery store, whether we're going into an office for a medical appointment, whether we're walking throughout the neighborhood, walking on grass, walking on gravel. We talk about all those different situations and how you can minimize your risk for a fall. We also talk about assistive devices such as walkers, wheelchairs, rolling walkers, and the safest way to use those properly. We also talk about concerns that we have about going out into town, into the city, going to the theater where there's sloping seating, those kinds of things, how we can mitigate the risk of falling in those situations. The goal is to never give in to the fear of falling, always be informed and engaged and build your confidence about falling. And that way you feel like you have done the best you can do. So that's the Matter of Balance class. Our second class is an ongoing fitness and exercise program called Enhanced Fitness. And that meets all over the county in different locations on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it is an hour-long class that primarily addresses the aerobic activity that you need to have, the strength building, and the flexibility. All those are done in a fun, social type environment. Lots and lots of fun.
The classes that you mentioned, are all of those going on right now with the pandemic? Have we paused them?
Yes, they are all on pause right now. However, we have on our PCOA website, www.pcoa.org, we have some healthy tidbits videos that you can access via YouTube that will take you through some of the basic exercises that you can start doing to build your strength and to build your confidence, and will help you remain steady on your feet. So that would be a good opportunity there. Also, we have education packets on fall prevention available to send out to anybody who's interested. They can do that by calling our health promotion office at 305-3410. 305-3410.
Perfect. That's a lot of really good information. Well, thank you for joining us, Karen. Thank you for sharing all of that with us.
We hope to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll see you and other members of your team on the show again very, very soon. And now we present another caregiver tip of the week. I'd like to introduce you to a new face. Here's Amber from our Family Caregiver Support Team.
Hi, my name is Amber Jin, and I am a social worker and family caregiver support specialist at PCOA. When I was a caregiver myself, one of the most useful tools I created for myself was a caregiving binder. It's a 3-ring binder with transparent sleeves and dividers, just a regular old binder, right? zippered pouches, whatever tools you need in there so that you can add paperwork and information as you receive it. It's a portable way to corral all the information and paperwork that might help you accomplish your caregiving tasks. Whether it is filling out new medical forms or dealing with insurance agents over the phone, whatever you need, you go to your binder. So what do you put in your binder? Your loved one's key information, of course. So that's going to be social security number, telephone number, emergency contacts, list of doctors and specialists, list of current medications, and you'll want to include dosages and schedules for that as well. List of allergies and medical conditions. Sometimes they ask for, surgeries. When did they have surgeries and what was it for? Appointment calendar is very important too. You can just jot it in there. It's all in one place. You'll want to make copies of their ID cards and insurance cards, both front and back, and have them in your binder, and copies of important legal paperwork such as POAs and advance directives. Those always come in handy. You'll always want copies of those in there. And having everything in one place just brings you so much peace of mind. You already have so much on your plate as a caregiver. But with this, you just grab the binder and go. Now, saying that, it does have a lot of very important and personalized information in there, so you'll want to keep it safe. You don't want anybody else to get their hands on it. If you're interested in creating a caregiver binder for yourself, one thing that you might want to do is just Google caregiver binder, and all kinds of suggestions and ideas pop up. You can also call our helpline, PCOA's helpline, and ask one of our great intake specialists to email you or mail you a suggestion list of anything that you'd want to put in your caregiver binder. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me today, and take care and have a great day.
Well, thank you, Amber, for that valuable tip. I hope you'll come visit us again soon to share more great ideas. Well, if any of you have any questions for Amber or for Karen or any of the others you met on our show today, or if you have suggestions for topics you'd love us to cover in future episodes, please shoot us an email at voices@pcoa.org. We'd love to hear from you. We want you to know that you're not alone. You can also email us to be placed on an email list to receive a reminder and a link to future episodes of PCOA Voices. Well, that's it for today. I'll see you again with a new episode in just a couple of weeks. Until then, be safe and let your voice be heard. Bye, everybody.